Hey everybody, Drew Roulette here, Director of Student Ministries at Copper Community Church in Lenexa, Kansas. I hope you've all had a wonderful week, even though it has been freezing outside, and I mean freezing. Again, though, I'm going to say this, I don't mind too much, because I like the cold. I think it's so much nicer than being hot all the time. But also, I don't really get Midwest weather, because there was that one random day this week that was like 80 degrees, and it just makes no sense to me. If someone could explain, that would be great. But anyways, let's jump in. So this week we're starting a new series, and this new series is called Canceled. This series is about loving others, and just different ways we can do that. This week we're going to look at how we can love others who are different than us. Quick question for you. Have you ever been cruel or avoided someone who was different than you? Now, I know when we first think about it, I did the same thing. I was like, no way, I would never do that. But then I really started to think, what are some ways this could happen? And I came up with this list. The first one is, with a celebrity or public figure, it could be someone that I disagreed with, so I was like, no way, cut them off, I don't want anything to do with them. Another could be a former friend who I couldn't agree with, and I just couldn't agree with him so much that I cut him out of my life. Somebody else could be a family member or a friend that I don't agree with their beliefs. So it's kind of one of those where I'm just like, nah, forget that and don't acknowledge it. Could just be someone who seemed different than me. A lot of times it could be that moment where you just see somebody and you're like, that person's weird. That's avoiding. That's being cruel. And lastly, it could be even just the fact of someone's culture making you feel uncomfortable. Now, newsflash though. This isn't something that's new. It's not something that, we've just dealt with since like a week ago or a month ago or a year ago. Truth is, this has been happening forever. I think a great example of that is in Jesus' time. There were two races. There was the Jews and there were the Samaritans. And let me tell you, they did everything they could to avoid each other. They did not like each other. They did not agree. Their beliefs were so many different, religious, political. Even sometimes they just thought each other was weird. But Jews and Samaritans didn't get along. But there is a moment in the Bible that I want to tell you about. An interesting moment. A moment where a Jewish man spoke to a Samaritan woman. And in that moment, it didn't matter their race. It didn't matter their politics. It didn't matter their religion. All that matters is they were two people. And it didn't matter that one was a Jew and was a Samaritan at that point. Now you may ask who these two people are. If you haven't heard this story, it's a really cool one. This is the story of Jesus and the woman at the well. Now, I'm going to sum it up for you. Very simple. There's a lot more to this story than what I'm about to say. But basically what happened one day is Jesus walked into a Samaritan town. And there was a woman at the well. Jesus sent his disciples off to do something, and Jesus was at this well by himself. And there was this woman there. Jesus, knowing this woman was a Samaritan, walked up to her and says, "Excuse me, could you get me a drink from the well?" Because he didn't have anything to draw the water, and she was there drawing water from the well. Now this woman was so puzzled. She was like, why is this Jewish man talking to me? We don't like each other, all of that. But the fact is that didn't matter to Jesus. Jesus came out and ends up telling her whole life story to her without her saying anything, proving the fact that he is better, that he is Jesus, he is who he is. And showing the fact that Jews and Samaritans belong together, they can be one together. Showing this fact that just because we're different, it doesn't mean we don't have to get along. Because Jesus and this woman had this long conversation, and Jesus showed her love through it. You showed this woman that was different, a different race than him, that showed that just because they were different didn't mean that they had to be apart, like their culture had shown. And that's because Jesus loves everybody. Loves you, loves me, loves the homeless man down the street, loves the criminal in the prison, even loves that kid you think is weird that you go to school with. Jesus loves them. Spoiler alert, though. Jesus calls us to do the same. And you know what? We can. We can do this because Jesus showed us this example. Another example is the church today. If it wasn't for Jewish men and women going and speaking to the Gentile people about who Jesus was, the church I sit in today, the church that you go to every Sunday or every Wednesday, every time you have an event, wouldn't be there. Because it would just be the Jewish race. But because they showed love, they showed that just because people are different doesn't mean we can't love them. But that showed that because people are different, we should love them. We are here today. I want to put it this way. Think about it this way. Different people have values. Let's think about it this way. I love sports. I could talk all day about sports, pretty much all of them. We could talk back and forth. I could have a full conversation with you about it. It's cool. But when I talk that, I'm not learning anything new. I'm talking about the things I know. But if I go to find someone who's different than me, and let's say we just have a conversation, we start talking about our interests. I talk about sports. They don't know sports, but they can learn and grow from that. Let's say their interest is, I don't know, theater. For me, it's never been interesting to me. That's just a fact of it. I love a good movie, but watching a play, I just don't get it. It just didn't make sense to me. But I love those people because I understand this fact, that they're different than me. But here's the thing. I can learn so much from them about things I do not know because they are different. The truth is, when people are different than us, it benefits us more than we can even know. Here's the thing, too. When we love them, we can learn more, and we can grow together as one. So this week, I encourage you, find someone who's different than you. Seek them out. Show them love. Show them that you care about them. Don't avoid them. Don't be cruel to them. But show them what love is and how, as a follower of Christ, we love those who are different than us because we can benefit from that as well. Hope you have a blessed week.